Hey guys, I want to show you a little tutorial on how to extend your main harness wires for your 87 to 93 Foxbody without actually soldering into and cutting the wires. So this is kind of what I made. Basically it's got a male end and a female end, and that would go onto your, where are we at? Onto your harness. This is my injector harness, so it would go, female end, and then of course the male end would go into the ECU harness. And what I did, and you can see right here, everything's in there. It looks stock as it should. And on this side, stock again as it should. The wires are all in there. They're in there really well. You can't take them out. And just so you guys see how I have my car set up, this is kind of how I have it set up. Let me get a flashlight. Okay. So this is my hiding wires setup. Basically, I cut a hole, don't mind the rat's nest over here. I cut a hole right there. Okay, and this is behind my dash, of course. I took out everything else in my dash, as you may be able to see, because this is not, it's like a weekend fun car. So, anyways, you cut a hole right there, and that is actually the size of this guy right here. CD. Size of this guy right here, which is what the original main harness went into, and then you just trim that, of course, so that fits. Anyways, that's how I have that set up, and that makes the engine bay really clean. You don't see any of the other wires going to anything, and you're also not going to cut your main harness or solder into your main harness at all. So if anything happens, you know exactly where the problem should be. So this is basically it. You take a harness. I happen to have an extra one lying around. Take your harness and you take all the pins out first. From here, it'll look like this when it's all done. All the pins are out. Easy to do. Those little clips right there, you just kind of push them back and pull the wire out. So not a lot to it. You got to take out the little red deal right here in the middle first. That allows you to do that. Once you get the pins out, you cut them off. I cut mine off looking like this. These are for the male ends that I'm going to attach to the female. And I just took them and chopped them right off. From here, what you're going to do, I'll put this phone down real quick, is you're going to cut off the edge right here. So I'm going to cut off this part right here. And that fell on the ground. Okay. You can cut off this piece right here. So it looks like this. And it's hollow on the inside. You can see that. Okay. And then you put this guy in some kind of, I really need a tripod for this, but this guy in some alligator clips, however you're going to solder. And you have your soldering iron, of course, right there, some solder. And then you just take your wires that are already stripped, right here. Doesn't matter which one you do. I have some paste flux that I'm going to put them into. Dip them into the paste flux. It's hard to do with one hand. So paste flux, just going to put a little bit in there like that. That's it. You're going to hook this guy up here, put the phone down again, because apparently I need a tripod and I don't have one. And then basically you're just going to insert the wire into the opening right there. Okay. Alright, so now the wire's in the opening, like so. And then I'm just going to solder this. So I'm going to put the solder basically into the opening. Where are we at? Right here. Put the solder actually inside of there and then heat that up and let that kind of fill up the opening until it almost comes out at the top. So I'll put the phone down and I'll do that. Somebody wants to buy me a tripod for my phone, I'll take it. So let's see, so now I'm heating this up right here, putting on the solder. And you don't need a lot necessarily, that's pretty well. And that's basically where we at, that's basically it. Just gonna heat that up, clean that up a little bit right there. Okay. And then when you're done with that, focus. This guy right here comes off. This guy right here comes off. Again, one-handed. Cool. And there you have your connection. Where's it at? Right there. Focus. Focus. Pain in the ass. Focus. Anyways, you get the idea. There's your connection. Come on, man, focus. There you go. So there it is right there. You can see it soldered in place. And that's your male end. Okay, what you do with this, when you're done with all of them, is you get your empty housing that you took off of a junkyard, you know, connector or wherever you got if you had an extra one lying around. Try to put this guy like this. There we go, this works. Okay, so you have your connector right here. Shit. You have your connector right here. And you have to look on the other harness that you have, the other end that you have. This would be mine. I'm just going to basically find out which wire this is. This is my white with red. So I'm going to find a white with red on here somewhere, which would be this guy. Or tan with red. Was that tan or white with red? Either way, you find it on your wiring harness and you just put it in the corresponding spot. You just pop it in there. It'll lock in place. And then you just do them all that way. And when you're all said and done, you put the red thing back in the middle. And there you have it. So you'll have that right there. So very easy. This is all that I needed to extend my wires to get it to sit for my my harness, my injector harness. And that's really it. So it's not really a lot, and you can cut it as long or as short as you need it. But that's basically the gist of it. My harness is going to sit inside of my car, and then the injector harness, of course, sits in this mess over here. And it just connects right underneath on top of the trans tunnel where that hole is, and you're pretty much set. So that's all you really need. This is my first tutorial video. It's not all that great, but whatever. You guys get it. Any questions, feel free to ask me on the forum, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope this helps some of you guys that are cleaning up your engine bays to reroute your wires. Have a good one.